Hello everyone, it's Nen from Insightful Vibrations. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. Thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't already, please take a moment to do so. Thank you also for liking the videos. It really helps me to understand which week you liked better than the last, etc., and it helps me improve the content and delivery of these videos. Now we are talking about July 17th to 23rd, 2017, and as usual I will begin with the forecast for all of us. We all have a lot more in common than we think about on a daily basis. We are all connected in this matrix of energy, and therefore it's important for us to know what kinds of things come up in common. And as usual, I will discuss the astrological events that I feel are significant this week, but I've also pulled out 3 cards from the Shining Angels deck, which is a round tarot deck that also has considered angelic energies in the cards. It's really a lovely deck. And then I also will talk about the new moon, because everything sort of culminates on Sunday when we have the new moon. All right, so beginning with what is going on energetically, we have the fire element strong all week, as it was last week, and for some time, in fact. We have Uranus still in Aries, we have Sagittarius still hosting Saturn, and then we have Leo hosting the Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So a lot of fire energy going on this week. We also have Uranus aligning with the star set Great Andromeda Nebula from 27 to 28 degrees Aries. And I mentioned this last week, where we may have a lot of transportation disasters, attacks, violence, famines, things like that. And it's really unfortunate, but we've already heard quite a bit on the news about planes that have had failures and near misses and things like that. So I hope those pilots are also listening to these forecasts and know which times are especially precarious from an energy standpoint. Now, we also have the moon lining up with starset Aludra this week at 27 degrees Cancer, and then it culminates at 0 degrees Leo, where we'll have the new moon as well as on Sunday at 0 degrees Leo. And there, you know, this is not a really nice thing, unfortunately. A lot of fires occurs under these stars, and of course right now in a number of parts of the world there are some huge ravaging fires going on, so it's really unfortunate, but you can see how this is all linked astrologically. We also may have storms, you know, problems with ships, trains, and other transportation. There also may be, you know, invasions, battles, and things like that, possibly even assassination. So this alignment, you know, is not a pleasant one. It certainly causes a lot of emotionality, and if you're not personally affected by these on a physical or emotional level, you certainly will be affected when you hear about things on the news, unfortunately. And then the sun and the moon are aligned with star set Tegman at 0 degrees Leo, and you know, again, this is really one where there's possible danger from more fiery types of things, including explosions. There could be gas explosions, there could be all kinds of things. But I also feel that with this alignment too, we have to protect our children very well and remind our children, you know, of how to behave when they're approached by strangers, because there is some hazard of children not being safe under this alignment. And we have Mercury in the North Node aligning in Subra. That star set is also going to be in the fiery sign of Leo at 24 to 27 degrees. And basically what happens here is a lot of intolerance. You know, it could be, you know, just, you know, hate crimes and things like that that you see. But it also, again, points to some very, very nasty energies like assassinations, beheadings, and things like that. But also, again, it fortifies that fire energy, and the storms and fires are definitely prevalent with this kind of alignment. We also have Jupiter aligning with Algorab, and that's in Libra, and of course air just fuels fire, so we're not getting anything less here. We're just getting a different kind of an issue coming up. And with this, you may have issues with smoke inhalation. any kind of gas hazards like carbon monoxide poisoning, things like that. So it's very, very, kind of air plus fire energy acting here. And we also have the possibility of storms, and really kind of rainstorms and windstorms, that kind of thing. Possibly a lot of fog, and possibly pollution or dust creating storms as well. Now, we also have here, unfortunately, possibility of some nasty, violent, events like assassinations and other things. So, again, we're not dealing with people who are kind and loving in these energies. We're dealing with people who just love to cause strife to people at no cost. They'll do anything to create problems, and that's what we see in that sort of terroristic mindset, where there's just this pleasure in seeing people suffer. And that, unfortunately, is another one of those stars that plays itself out this week. We also have Saturn aligning itself with Wadrick. And this is also a star that asks us to be careful, because any kind of neglect in our duties, any kind, lack of due diligence, even things like, driving while we're asleep or working while we're half dozy, or that kind of thing can happen here. So basically, this could involve any kind of dangers or accidents resulting from carelessness, essentially, and sometimes even being cocky and overconfident. So definitely, if you're not in a position to drive or operate a motor vehicle or a boat or anything else, definitely don't even try it. This is not a week to test your cockiness and overconfidence. And we also have Pluto aligning itself with star set Vega, and Vega can also fortify that sort of danger of violence, especially with Pluto. They're stirring things up. It can also talk about invasions, kidnapping, and just war and battles generally. So again, we have that energy that can support all of those things coming up. And again, this week we have the south node of the moon, which is a calculated point, and that's aligned with the star set Saddle-Sud. And basically what we have here again is, fires, storms of all kinds. We have possible atrocities due to violence on a mass scale. We possibly have, mobs, riots, looting, that kind of thing as well as you may again see, in the news, beheadings and assassinations. But, again, we have to just hold in our thoughts that these things will not happen to us. I think that's the way we try to put it into an irrelevant universe and let it just drift off into the cosmos to be replenished by true, pure, loving white light. And then, hopefully if we can maintain that thought, this thing won't affect us personally. Neptune is also aligning with star set Satyshbi. Sorry, I'm totally massacred that name, Satyabishai. And it is basically, again, another one where it talks about brutal intolerance, acts of violence, battles of all kinds. But it can also bring disasters such as powerful earthquakes, as well as air fatalities. So, meteor falls have not been unheard of under the energies of this star as well. And I feel as well that there is some real potential with all this fire energy to bring about epidemics of some kind. This could bring, epidemics of fever, because fever is fire, right? So this particularly culminates on Sunday, July 23rd, when we have the new moon at 0 degrees Leo. Now, those of us in the Stoney Creek, Ontario area will be just getting onto our day when this new moon comes into place. But, it goes on through the day, of course, so there's other things happening. So we get to Sunday, July 23rd, when the new moon will be in Leo at 0 degrees. And also, it will be hosting the sun at 0 degrees. So Leo is going to be busy. And Leo's also hosting Mars at 1 degree. So there's a lot going on there. Plus, Mercury joins in. and also, just becomes fiery itself. Now, Mars is also squaring Uranus on that day, and this can mean for a host of aggression, but it can also mean breakthrough energy if it's channeled properly. So if you think about what areas of your life are stayed or stagnant, and how you can apply all of the burst of energy that you'll have this week, this is a fantastic thing to do. Channel your energy into a career project, a sport, an art, a hobby of any kind, music, and teach your children to do the same. And I can tell you that you'll make strides in these areas because Mars gives you tremendous energy. Uranus gives you tremendous transformational energy. So a lot of breakthroughs can be possible. And rather than having aggression, conflict, argumentation, and things like that, I feel that you could really use that energy to your benefit. The sun and the moon are also forming lovely angles to Chiron, and this bodes well for caring, compassion, empathy, and it's also particularly useful this week for healing mental illnesses, emotional illnesses, and spiritual imbalances. So great week for all of that. Now, later on the day of the new moon at about 6:36 Ontario time, we have a grand fire trine happening. So also, Saturn, Uranus, and North Node are in fire signs. So we need to keep in mind that this whole week is going to be an abundance of energy. Let's make it positive energy and not negative energy. Stay away from people who can produce conflict or engage you in conflict. Stay away from areas of conflict if you're traveling. And, if you're just bored and it's summer vacation, and this applies especially to children and teenagers, make sure that there's plenty of activity to keep everyone busy, because all of us are subject to boredom and can act out. So, not everybody's enlightened and transformed and reformed, and not everybody is conforming to a gentler energy. Everybody has to create that gentler energy for themselves amidst all this turbulence in the skies. So these various configurations are calling for personal transformation. You can stay as is if you wish, because you will have a couple more opportunities this summer. For example, we have the next two moons also in Leo, the next full moon on August the 7th, as well as the next new moon after this one on August the 21st, when we'll also see a full solar eclipse. So all of that in Leo, plus on each of those days we will also have more grand fire trines. So motivation, initiative, and transformation have never been better supported, and this is your summer. Now keep in mind that the best time to take action is on the day, on the eve of the new moon, the day of the new moon, and within 2 weeks of it. So about August 7th is when you see a dissipation of the supportive energies. And new moons are about new starts. And again, you can stay as is, or you can make a fresh start. And that fresh start can lead you to leadership. It can lead you to fame. It can lead you to all kinds of good and promising things. So I definitely think for those of you who do need a new start, this is a great new moon for you on July 23rd. But also keep in mind that until then, we are in a waning moon situation. So the moon's energies are decreasing. And then, of course, at the new moon, they start rebuilding. So what this means is that any kind of elimination or reduction activities are favored. So if you don't want your hair to grow back as fast after your haircut, this is a good waning moon period for you to get your hair cut. And, similarly, if you're unfortunate enough to have to cut your workforce or something, if you're in that position to make that decision, you'd best be doing it during a waning moon phase. It is more supportive of that, and there are fewer negative repercussions and consequences. And similarly for dieting, if you are trying to, change your, eating habits and eat less, for example, then this is a reduction activity. So definitely the waning moon period up until the next full moon is very supportive for you. So that's how the planets are sized up. Please stay tuned for your zodiac sign forecast next. And please remember to watch the videos for your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, as these will collectively give you a comprehensive picture of what lies ahead this week. Also, I would like to remind remind everyone that not all comments apply to all people, because there are millions of Aries, Tauruses, Geminis, etc., and we cannot speak without an individual reading to all of those people. But generally you'll get an idea of what's going on, and when things resonate with you, you'll know you need to pay attention and pay heed and take some steps to prevent negative things from happening, but also take steps to ensure that positive things happen. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thank you for watching. Hello Cancer, Sun sign, Moon sign, Rising sign folks. This is your forecast for the week of July 17 to 23rd, 2017. I'm using the Linda Goodman Astrology deck. I have drawn 3 cards for you: Submission and Caution, Prince of Heaven, and Uranus. So, Cancer, this week, when it comes to financial dealings, I feel especially, or any dealings with neighbors, close friends, siblings, that kind of thing, I do feel you need to exercise some due diligence. If you are looking over any documents, watch the fine print, get advice if you need it, but whatever you do, be careful, because there is some risk here of you losing some assets or not gaining as much, for example, in an investment opportunity. So be careful with documents, understand what your risks, liabilities, and potential benefits are before you sign on the dotted line. And this also applies to those of you who are looking at new job opportunities and entertaining new job contracts, as well as new business deals. I also feel that with the Prince of Heaven card, some of you will really feel that your spiritual structures are changing, that you're really, able to, feel more enlightened, feel more spiritually cleansed. I feel that a lot of what you're doing is rising above the mundane problems this week and sort of really putting your heads up in the clouds, so to speak. But be careful, because as I mentioned, you do have to be careful this week about documents and other things, especially with respect to finances. So you don't want your head in the clouds while you're also trying to do something very serious. So stay grounded when you are doing anything official, and then when you have your time for your meditation, your prayer, your mediumship, your divination, or whatever it is you like to do, then use that time, to do that, and don't overlap it, and make sure you're well grounded for the other mundane tasks. I also feel that with Uranus there are some structures around you collapsing, and this is not particularly in terms of buildings, but it may be business related, in the sense of jobs collapsing, in the sense of, cutbacks, maybe some labor disputes of some kind. It could also mean that maybe a major client for a business, for example, is not coming through with orders, and that's potentially problematic as well. And what the cards are saying here is that, with the Prince of Heaven card especially, just trust. And and trust and believe, and expect that new work will come through the door, and then you'll weather everything just absolutely superbly. For some of you, this is also a week where you need to engage in some self-love, and it's talking about taking time off and nurturing yourself a little bit. So do that, Cancer, because I think the result will be absolutely wonderful, and you'll have a great week.